I've not watched Doctor Who in over 10 years. Let's talk about the Star Beast. Yeah, I have not consistently watched Doctor Who for at least 9 or 10 years. But obviously we'll say 10 because it sounds more dramatic. And last night I watched The Star Beast, which is Doctor Who's comeback for the 60th anniversary, and we're going to have a chat about it. So, for those out of the loop, but if you are not sure why you're watching this video, there are 3 Doctor Who specials coming out within the next 3 weeks. Star Beast, which was last night's, Wild Blue Yonder, which is next week, then the week after with The Giggle. Now, I'm watching all 3 of these, and I plan to watch Doctor Who consistently going on. Before we get into talking about the Star Beast, I just want to give some context as to why I haven't watched Doctor Who in near enough 10 years. Now, it's not like a few people I've seen on the internet, because of Jodie, or because the Doctor was now female presenting, or because the writing was bad, this, that, the other. I stopped watching very early into Capaldi's run, which I think he was revealed in 2013, maybe? And honestly, it wasn't long into his run that I stopped watching it. Now, I watched bits here and there, I watched the odd episode, but I haven't watched Doctor Who consistently every week for about 10 years. With that context out of the way, let's get into the Star Beast. Now, initial thoughts, first thoughts, I didn't want it to stop, which I mean is probably the best review you can give something, isn't it? I could see it was getting closer to 7:30, and I didn't want it to end. I was that in it, I was that excited about Doctor Who again that I did not want it to end. And I guess that's also a reason I came back and wanted to watch it, because David Tennant was back, so I was like, look, if there was ever going to be a time to get back into Doctor Who, it's with David Tennant and Catherine Tate back, and then go on from there, which I guess is what Doctor Who are trying to do. They're rebranding this as the Series 1 sort of idea, which I've not got many opinions on, but I might talk about them later. Let's talk about characters first off. The Doctor. I mean, it's David Tennant's Doctor, isn't it? It's the 14th Doctor, but it's David Tennant back. Little tweaks here and there to his portrayal of the 10th Doctor. Obviously, you've got the complication of why has this face come back. And I think the way they deal with that in this first special is amazing. They don't give you the straight answer. They go, the Doctor's like, I don't really know. Donna's like, what's going on? He's like, well, I don't know. It's dealt with in such a good way that leads you on really well for the next few specials. And then even going on from that, perhaps. Obviously, seeing Donna back's wonderful. I love Catherine Tate. Her portrayal of Donna is absolute perfection. And similar with Sylvia, Donna's mum. Sylvia is one of my favourite characters from Modern Who. And the way that she interacts with the Doctor, obviously she knows about the Doctor, but Donna cannot know about the Doctor. So seeing that and the sort of, not hatred, but the feelings that Sylvia has towards the Doctor are dealt with so perfectly here. I just think it works incredibly. Obviously, we've got Rose, Donna's daughter. Now, I think everything to do with Rose was dealt with perfectly. So, Yasmin Finney, who plays Rose, is a trans actor. And I don't think there was any confirmation as to whether Rose herself was going to be a trans character, or if it would just be a trans actress playing a cisgendered female. We didn't know how they were going to do it, and we got the confirmation that Rose is indeed trans. And oh my god, some of the scenes in this special were just perfect. Like, there is a whole thing with LGBTQ plus representation in media, and sometimes it's shoehorned in there. It's a bit like, you're doing this to score points, clearly, but this is the most natural portrayal and way of dealing with that sort of thing I've seen. Like, people have said that there's a part where Rose gets dead named, which for those that don't know is when someone calls someone who is trans by the name they were born with. And that is obviously, don't do that, don't be a prick. But there's a scene in this where a group of boys from her school cycle past and call her by her dead name. And people are like, oh, did we need to see that? And it's a thing of that happens. That happens, so yes, we need to show it. And the way it's dealt with is, the way Donna reacts is so lovely to see. And one of the bits that really got me is when Sylvia called Rose gorgeous or beautiful or something along those lines. And then after Rose had left, Sylvia said, "Oh, should I be saying that? Is that sexist?" I mean, I never said it to him when he was. And then she, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so clumsy," and just that sort of really trying, but especially the older generation struggling with it more, but seeing there a bit of Sylvia's trying. I don't know. It really worked, and I thought it was very, very good representation. Let's move on to Beep the Meep. I mean, Miriam Margolyes in Doctor Who was always going to be wonderful. Beep the Meep is such a good character to have someone like Miriam voice, because when you've got the first half, maybe even 2/3 of the Meep's character as this cute little alien monster thing who's so innocent and sweet, and then you get that switch. It's one of my favourite scenes from the special, is you get the close-up of the Meep, and you see their face. You can see the shift in their face from cute Meep into, like, horrible monster, and it's just that one shift is one of my favourite parts from this special.
To hell with this!
The unit come back and have a lot to do with dealing with the Meep ship landing. You get those big tall, I can't remember what they're called, the guards. They're really cool, and I love that, again, they're not putting like incredible CGI into those monsters. Let's be honest, Meep looked fantastic, whereas those guard warrior things, they looked good. And they looked like Doctor Who, because I know that was a lot of people's worries with the Disney money coming in and all the new stuff that's coming in. People were worried it wouldn't feel like Doctor Who. But those guards were so, like, in my head, considering I haven't watched it pretty much since Smith ended. Oh my god, they are so Doctor Who, and I absolutely loved them. The way they dealt with the meta crisis and Donna having the mind of a Time Lord in her head, I think, was absolutely needed. I don't know how well right. If we're talking about scores, I think this episode is a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I think it was really good. I think because going into it, everyone was thinking we need to somehow deal with the fact that if Donna remembers the Doctor, she dies. We can't really have 3 specials with her in it where she doesn't know who the Doctor is, and the way they dealt with that, with it, obviously, Rose having it as well, was just... I think that was such a creative and cool way of doing it. There were so many avenues they could have gone down with that, but I think that was probably the one that would have worked the best, and that's why it was really nice. And then, obviously, you have Donna running away again with the Doctor, having a look at the new TARDIS, spilling the coffee. They could be going anywhere in time and space. And that's, again, such a nice way of ending it. And it's a very Russell T Davies way of ending an episode of Doctor Who, especially a special, with this sort of open-ended, all the stakes have been tied together. You thought, now there's something else. That is so... It's perfect. It's perfect. And it's going to get people watching next week. We've got the tease of Wilf in this one, which I almost cried, because when the Doctor started saying about Wilf, and he's no longer with us, I thought they'd cut his scenes out and I was about to kick off, but no, we will be seeing Wilf, which is an absolute relief, because Bernard Cribbins, obviously, it's going to be his last screen performance of all time, which is upsetting, but I'm glad we are going to get to see him one more time and almost have that last goodbye with Bernard Cribbins, because Bernard Cribbins as Wilfred Mott is one of the best castings in Doctor Who. I think he is fantastic, and I cannot wait to see him back. I do also want to quickly talk about the interior of the TARDIS. Now, considering the TARDIS I last saw consistently was this, and now we've got this. Right, I don't hate this. I'm not looking at this and going, that is rancid, that's horrific. It doesn't have the charm of the older ones, but I like the modernness of it. I love the little, like, winding paths going up and down. That was lovely. And the scene where David Tennant's running through them, I think it's so... that's the bit I like. The all clinical whiteness, I'm not sure. I can't lie. I prefer this steampunky, rustic, bronzy look as opposed to this all white look. But look, it's not as bad as it could have been. Overall, the Star Beast, 7.5 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's the first Doctor Who video I've ever done. It's not particularly along my line of what I do. If you enjoyed it and want to see more, please do let me know in the comments. I did do a poll saying if I did Doctor Who, would anyone care? And the majority, I think like 88% said yes. So here we are. Please let me know in the comments any other Doctor Who videos you want to see. Let me know your thoughts on the Star Beast. Please do like, subscribe, as I'm going to be doing all 3 specials, so the next 2 specials in this sort of format. And then maybe, depending on how it goes, we might start doing more Docky Woo content. Please do let me know. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.